Welcome, listeners, to a deep dive into the world of AI pioneers.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one.
It's easy to think that artificial intelligence is something new.
Yeah, definitely a very recent thing.
But to really understand where we are today, we kind of have to go way back,
Oh, yeah, way back.
centuries back even.
Okay, centuries to like the 1300s and 1400s.
Yeah, that's right, like to the 14th century with Ramon Lull and his Ars Magna.
Okay, so we're rewinding the clock quite a bit here.
We are. Now, this might seem like a strange place to start,
Definitely doesn't sound like AI to me.
but trust me, this is surprisingly relevant. Lull was a philosopher.
Okay, so philosophy, AI, how do those connect?
He envisioned this mechanical system using paper to kind of connect and combine ideas.
Combine ideas, so like creating new knowledge.
Exactly. Creating new knowledge. Now, this obviously wasn't a computer or anything.
Right, the 14th century, no computers yet.
But the underlying principle, it really resonates with AI today. The idea of using systems to process information.
So it's all about connections and patterns.
Exactly. It's just mind-blowing to think that someone was grappling with these ideas way back then.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It shows you that the desire to understand and even replicate intelligence has been around for a very long time.
A very, very long time.
And we see these early ideas of AI popping up in some really interesting places.
Oh, yeah, like where?
Take Gottfried Leibniz in the 17th century.
Okay, Leibniz. I know that name.
He was working on this concept of an alphabet of human thought, basically trying to create like a universal rule book for knowledge.
So almost like programming the essence of thought itself.
Exactly. Pretty profound stuff.
Yeah, that's deep.
So you can see these early thinkers were laying the conceptual groundwork,
Okay, so the ideas were there.
even if they didn't have the tools to make them a reality.
Right, still way before computers.
Now, as we move into the 20th century, we start to see the bridge between theory and practice.
Okay, so this is where things start to get more concrete.
Exactly. Leonardo Torres Quevedo built an electromechanical chess player in the early 1900s.
Whoa, wait, a machine that plays chess.
Yeah, a machine playing chess before computers were even really a thing.
That's crazy.
It really was ahead of its time.
Way ahead of its time.
And it kind of foreshadows those famous chess matches.
Oh, yeah, like Deep Blue versus Kasparov.
Exactly. AI taking on the world champion. Really captures the imagination.
That's so cool.
It's a reminder that the drive to create machines that can rival human intelligence has always been there.
It's fascinating.
Then you have Edmund Berkeley writing Giant Brains, or Machines That Think in 1949.
Giant brains, what a title.
I know, right? Bold statement for that time.
Yeah, for sure. Bold statement.
Berkeley was really pushing the boundaries.
What do you mean?
Well, he was arguing that machines could actually think.
Whoa.
This was a huge shift in thinking. It helped pave the way for AI to become a formal field of study.
So the stage is set.
The stage is set, the idea of thinking machines starts to take root.
Yeah.
And by the mid-20th century, we see the birth of AI as we know it today.
This is where things get really interesting.
Now, there's no better place to start than with Alan Turing.
Turing, the father of computer science.
That's right. In 1950, he publishes his groundbreaking paper, Computing Machinery and Intelligence.
What was so groundbreaking about it?
It introduces the famous Turing test.
Ah, the Turing test, a classic.
It gets to the core of what it means for a machine to think.
You mean like, can a machine fool a human into thinking it's also human?
Exactly. And the Turing test is still a benchmark in AI research even today.
It's pretty incredible how influential it's been.
It is. Now, the 1950s were really a hotbed of innovation.
Oh, yeah. Tell me more.
Just a year after Turing's paper, we have Marvin Minsky.
Another legend.
He builds SNARK, the very first artificial neural network.
So this is the foundation for deep learning.
The foundation for the deep learning revolution that's transforming AI today.
Wow, talk about a visionary.
And then in 1952, we have Arthur Samuel. He develops a checkers playing program that could actually learn from its experiences.
Wait, so machine learning was already a thing back then?
It was. Machine learning was an action way before it became the buzzword it is today.
It's crazy to think about.
Samuel's work really showed the potential for AI to adapt and evolve, just like we do.
Pretty remarkable.
And then comes 1956. This is the official birth of AI as a field.
The big bang of AI research.
You could say that. We have the Dartmouth Conference, organized by John McCarthy.
McCarthy, another giant in AI.
He brings together some of the brightest minds to explore the possibilities of thinking machines.
That's a pretty important conference.
It really was a pivotal moment. And it's at Dartmouth that McCarthy coins the term artificial intelligence.
So that's where the term comes from.
And that same year, We see the emergence of the logic theorist, a program capable of proving mathematical theorems.
Proving mathematical theorems, that's pretty impressive for 1956.
I know, right? Incredible progress in just a few short years.
It seems like the 1950s were just jam-packed with AI breakthroughs.
Oh, they were just getting started. We also have the general problem solver in 1957, another ambitious attempt to create a program to solve a wide variety of problems.
So like a universal problem-solving machine.
It was an incredibly optimistic time, and in 1959, Arthur Samuel coins another important term. He gives a name to this whole idea of learning machines, machine learning.
So simple, but so revolutionary.
It really is. And another key figure, Oliver Selfridge, enters the scene that same year.
Okay, Selfridge, what did he do?
He introduces Pandemonium, a self-improving pattern recognition system.
Self-improving, that's interesting.
It really is amazing to see how quickly the field was advancing.
And it wasn't just about the ideas and the algorithms, right? There were the tools they were using, too.
Right, and that's where John McCarthy comes in again. He develops LISP, a programming language specifically designed for AI research.
So LASP was like the secret weapon that fueled the early AI revolution.
You could say that. It gave researchers the means to build and experiment with these new AI systems.
So the 1950s were a whirlwind of AI innovation.
A true explosion of groundbreaking research. But what happened next? Did this rapid progress continue?
Well, like any new field, there were ups and downs. The 1960s brought both exciting progress and the first hints of what we now call AI winters.
AI winters, that sounds ominous. But before we get into that, tell me about the highlights of the 1960s.
Oh, there were plenty. One of the most fascinating developments was the creation of ELIZA, the very first chatbot. It was built by Joseph Weissenbaum in 1966.
Wait a minute. A chatbot in 1966? You're kidding.
It's true. Imagine that. A computer program that could hold a conversation way back then.
That's just incredible.
It was a major milestone. It showed the potential for computers to engage in human-like conversation.
Even at a basic level, I imagine.
Yeah, but it was a glimpse into the future, you know? A future where we could interact with machines in a more natural and intuitive way. A future where we're basically chatting with computers all the time.
It's amazing to think how far we've come since then.
Right. And the 1960s had even more in store. Besides ELIZA, we also saw the birth of Shaky.
Shaky the robot. Now that's a name I remember.
What makes it so memorable for you?
I don't know, it just sticks with you. Shaky the robot.
It does have a ring to it. Well, Shaky was the first mobile intelligent robot.
Okay, so we're talking about a robot that could actually move around.
Yeah, built at the Stanford Research Institute. It could perceive its surroundings.
Like understand where it was.
Yeah, navigate obstacles, even reason about simple tasks.
Hold on, this was back in the 60s, right?
1966 to be exact. Decades before self-driving cars were even a concept.
It's mind-blowing how they were already laying the groundwork for autonomous systems way back then.
Shaky was a huge step forward, from theoretical AI to something that could operate in the real world.
It really set the stage for the robots we see today.
In manufacturing, logistics, even exploration.
Exactly. So the 60s were building on the momentum of the 50s.
Pushing AI into new and uncharted territory.
But you mentioned earlier about these AI winters.
Right.
Yeah. What happened? Did the progress hit a wall?
Well, yeah, in a way. Amidst all this progress, AI encountered its first real roadblock.
Okay, what happened?
1973, the Lighthill Report comes out.
The Lighthill Report, now what was that about again?
It was this critical assessment of AI research, in the UK specifically.
Okay, so like a progress report.
Yeah, and it basically highlighted the gap.
The gap between?
Between the huge expectations around AI and the reality of what it could actually achieve at that point.
So it was like a reality check for the field.
Yeah, you could say that. And the report led to some pretty significant funding cuts.
Really? That's unfortunate.
It was, especially in the UK. This marked the beginning of the first AI winter.
AI winter, so things basically froze over for a while.
In a way, yeah. Funding dried up, research slowed down.
What caused that disconnect between the expectations and reality?
Well, early AI systems, while impressive, they struggled with real-world complexity.
So they weren't as adaptable as people had hoped.
Yeah, they were kind of brittle, couldn't easily handle new situations.
They lacked that common sense that humans have.
Right. And, you know, in a way, AI had become a victim of its own hype.
The hype outpaced the actual technology.
Yeah, and that led to disappointment and, you know, a decline in investment.
So it's a good reminder that even fields like AI, they can experience setbacks.
Definitely.
But I'm guessing AI research didn't just stop completely during these winters, did it?
Oh, no, not at all. It continued, just at a slower pace.
Okay, so people were still working behind the scenes.
Absolutely. And eventually, AI emerged from that first winter, a revival in the early 1980s.
What sparked that revival?
A couple of things. The rise of expert systems.
Expert systems. Remind me what those are about.
You know, they were designed to capture the knowledge of human experts.
In specific fields.
Right, like medicine or engineering.
So basically, early versions of AI assistants, but specialized.
Exactly. They were seen as a way to make specialized knowledge more accessible.
And this led to a surge in investment.
It did. AI was back in the spotlight.
What about machine learning? What was happening with that during this time?
Well, the mid-'80s saw a resurgence in machine learning research.
Key figures like Jeffrey Hinton and Jan LeCun.
Yeah, they were making huge strides in neural networks, particularly in backpropagation algorithms.
Backpropagation. I always hear that term, but I'm not quite sure I understand it.
It's pretty complex, but basically it's this powerful algorithm for training neural networks.
Okay, so it helps neural networks learn.
Yeah, it helps them learn from their mistakes. They can adjust their internal parameters to improve.
And this is important because...
Backpropagation is essentially the backbone of deep learning.
Oh, I see.
The thing that's revolutionizing AI today.
So backpropagation was crucial in making neural networks more effective.
It was a game changer, and the excitement around AI was building again.
Really? Like how?
Well, in 1982, Japan launches this massive project.
What project?
The Fifth Generation Computer Systems Project.
Okay, ambitious name.
It was an ambitious project. The goal was to create computers with advanced AI capabilities.
Specifically in logic programming.
Exactly. But, you know, amidst all this renewed optimism, a couple of leading AI researchers issued a warning.
Who were they?
Roger Schenck and Marvin Minsky.
Oh, wow. Two big names.
Yeah, and they basically said, hey, be careful. This hype might be getting ahead of reality again.
So they predicted another AI winter.
Sadly, they were right. By the late 80s, the limitations of expert systems became clear.
What limitations?
They were expensive to develop, hard to maintain.
And they couldn't handle problems that required common sense.
Yeah, they were stuck in their narrow domains of expertise.
So the bubble burst for expert systems.
It did. Funding dried up again. Disillusionment set in.
Another AI winter.
Yeah, another one. But, you know, even during the second winter, research continued.
So the seeds of future breakthroughs were being sown.
Absolutely. And AI did eventually climb out of this second winter.
Stronger than ever, I bet.
You could say that. The 90s saw some major strides.
Like in what areas?
Machine translation, image recognition, really setting the stage for the deep learning revolution that was about to take off.
The 90s. AI started to become a part of our everyday lives, right?
Speech recognition software, AI that could play complex games.
But before we get to that, you mentioned something about the military using AI.
Oh, yeah, that's right. 1991, the U.S. military develops DART.
DART, what was that?
An AI program that optimized logistics during the Gulf War.
So AI on the battlefield.
Yeah. It was a powerful demonstration of AI's ability to solve real-world problems.
On the massive scale.
And on the consumer side, we have 1997 Dragon, naturally speaking.
The first commercially successful speech recognition software.
Yeah. It wasn't perfect, but it gave us a taste of the future.
Of talking to our computers.
And having them actually understand us.
And of course, we can't forget about Deep Blue.
1997, Deep Blue beats Garry Kasparov.
IBM's AI takes down the world chess champion.
A global sensation.
It felt like AI was finally catching up to science fiction.
It was a turning point. But the real revolution, the deep learning revolution, that was still to come.
The stage was set.
The stage was set. But what about AI research at that point? Was it still recovering from that second winter?
That's a good question. Was there still skepticism around AI?
There was some lingering skepticism, but things were changing. The late 90s saw a renewed interest in AI.
Because of Deep Blue and things like speech recognition.
Yeah, and a growing awareness of AI's potential.
So the seeds of deep learning were being sown, even as AI was finding its footing again.
Exactly. And as we entered the 21st century, a few things came together to create this perfect storm for a deep learning explosion.
This is getting exciting. What were those things?
Well, advances in computing power, massive data sets becoming available, and groundbreaking new algorithms.
Sounds like a recipe for a revolution.
It was. The 2000s were about to become the decade of deep learning.
And welcome back to our deep dive into the world of AI. In parts 1 and 2, we took a journey through AI history, from its earliest beginning to the deep learning revolution that's transforming our world. But now, It's time to look ahead. What's next for AI? Where is it all heading?
That's the big question, isn't it? The future of AI. And one of the most exciting and potentially transformative areas of research is AGI.
AGI. Now that sounds like something straight out of science fiction.
It does, doesn't it? Artificial general intelligence.
Okay, so what does that actually mean? How is it different from the AI we have today?
Well, think of it this way. Most of the AI we use now is what we call narrow or specialized AI. It's really good at specific tasks, you know.
Like playing chess.
Yeah, like playing chess, recognizing faces, translating languages. But AGI, that's aiming for something much bigger.
So AGI would be like an AI that can learn and solve problems across many different areas, not just in one specific domain.
Exactly. An AI that has a much broader range of cognitive abilities.
Kind of like humans.
Yeah, like humans. Imagine an AI that can understand and reason about the world in a way that's similar to us. It could learn new things quickly, adapt to different situations, come up with creative solutions.
That's the ultimate goal of AGI research.
It is. It's a grand challenge. But there are some pretty big hurdles to overcome.
Yeah, like what? What are some of the challenges in developing AGI?
Well, one of the biggest is that we still don't fully understand human intelligence itself.
Oh, that makes sense.
We're still figuring out how our brains work, how we learn, how we reason, how consciousness even arises.
So to create AI that's truly like human intelligence,
We need to crack the code of intelligence itself.
we can't just build faster computers or write more clever algorithms.
It's a deeper problem than that. And there are other challenges too. Like, how do you program common sense into a machine?
Yeah, common sense. We humans take it for granted.
But it's incredibly difficult to teach a machine. So AGI, it's a long-term goal. But what about the near future? What about the next few years?
What areas of AI research are most promising right now? What's likely to impact our lives in the near future?
Oh, there's a lot happening. One area that's really exciting is explainable AI, XAI for short.
Explainable AI. Okay.
Right.
Why is that so important?
Well, as AI systems get more complex and powerful, it's getting harder to understand how they're making decisions.
It's like a black box. You don't know what's going on inside.
Exactly. And this lack of transparency, it can be a problem, especially in fields like healthcare or finance, where the stakes are high.
You need to be able to trust the AI.
Right. You need to know how it's arriving at its conclusions. And that's where XAI comes in. It's about developing AI systems that can explain their decisions
So we can understand.
in a clear and understandable way, so we can trust them more, use them in a wider range of applications.
Makes sense. So XAI is all about transparency and accountability.
Exactly. Now, another area that I'm really interested in is federated learning.
Federated learning. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what is that all about?
So imagine you want to train an AI model using data from lots of different sources, right?
Like hospitals or smartphones?
Exactly. But you also want to protect the privacy of that data.
Yeah, that's crucial.
Federated learning lets you do both. You can train AI algorithms on decentralized data.
Without having to bring all the data together in one place.
Exactly. So you can train on the data where it lives without compromising privacy.
Wow, that's pretty ingenious.
It's a powerful idea. Federated learning could revolutionize how we use data to train AI, especially for sensitive data.
Like in healthcare.
Exactly, where privacy is paramount. It opens up so many possibilities.
So the future of AI, it's a mix of exciting potential and some complex challenges.
Definitely. As AI becomes more and more a part of our lives, we need to think carefully about its impact on society.
The ethical considerations, the potential risks.
It's not just about the technology itself, it's about how we use it.
This has been an incredible conversation. We've covered so much ground, from the earliest dreams of thinking machines to the deep learning revolution and the ethical challenges of AI.
And the future possibilities.
It's amazing to see how far AI has come and to think about where it might go next.
And we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore in the world of AI.
If you've enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to subscribe to the show for more insightful conversations about the latest developments in AI.
And for even more AI content, check out the YouTube channel, Ian Ochieng AI.
Until next time, keep exploring the fascinating world of artificial intelligence.